Okay, who are you and where are you from?
Hey, my name is David Oredugba. I am from Los Angeles, California.
And where have you been how long have you been working here in this farmer's market?
Oh, I've been at this farmer's market for maybe over about 4 years now.
And how was this pandemic year for you?
This pandemic year was interesting. It was definitely an adjustment, but it also was a blessing as well. It gave, one time to kind of put things in perspective, figure out, life and what I'm doing and stuff like that. And was, it made me realize that with, tea, my brother and I have a tea business called NIA, which stands for Not Your Average Tea. And, we've been able to kind of give a lot of people solace, especially during a time of confusion and health worries and a lot of unknowns. Tea was one of those daily rituals of comfort that, we've discovered from our clients, gave people a sense of calm, so that was really rewarding. What was your question again?
Well, let me ask, have you been, in your private life, have you been masking and distancing?
Yeah. Well, yeah, masking and distancing, and being at work with my hands a lot. I was early on really cautious and stuff like that, just because with the food product and something that's hand blended, I was really hyperactive and being tested and masked, keeping my distancing, stuff like that. And so what it really made me kind of do is really tap into new forms of communication, as far as like a lot of these chat apps and Clubhouse and ways to kind of to fill a social void without having to be in compromising situations. So it's kind of interesting that COVID really forced a lot of people to create their new normal and the new future, in a sense, And even as things open up, we're in a place of things will be different. I mean, this was a paradigm shift. So I'm wearing my mask and all that, and it's.
Are you vaccinated?
I am actually. I am. I am.
Were you worried about that?
Not really. I mean, I probably should be. I mean, normally I'm one to question stuff, but I realized that I'd rather be free. I'd rather be free within the trap rather than trapped within my freedom. And that's one of those things where I want to travel. I like to travel. I like to do things, move around, and I want to be able to not be in a compromised situation where my hand is forced. So I rather was like, you know what, I'm gonna take it. Let me take it now and build my resistance and just have faith. So.
Did you ask family and friends beforehand, or
no?
Did you rely on the news and on expert opinions?
Just trust. I mean, my parents, my dad works in medicine, so they were vaccinated earlier, and then for me, family's important. So for them, it was a sense of calm. Whether even though I took the vaccine and I have no worries about it, I actually feel like I understand people who have apprehensions and don't want to take it. I get it. Trust me, it's a very personal thing. I just, as a person driven by spirit, as a Christian, I feel like I have angels protecting me, and that whatever the outcome of the situation happens. And right now I'm using faith to kind of protect me. And I know that might seem vague, but
you're masking, you're distancing, and you're vaccinated, and you have faith.
Yeah, exactly. And I live life. So I think it's a balance. Because at the end of the day, there's always a risk too. There's a risk in not taking it, and there's a risk taking it. So for me, I just weighed it out. Like, hey, am I at least doing my part? And am I still able to participate in life? And for me, it was worth taking it. So.
And so, what do you see? Has the government been reacting properly, do you think, over the top, about right, or how do you think the response has been?
No, it depends on which government you're speaking of, or which jurisdiction. But I think California was proactive. They're really extra, but it was, I think, necessary, and it's better safe than sorry. And then a lot of COVID, a lot of it is optics too. A lot of it's create the theatrics of preventing everything, but the reality is it's better safe than sorry, because you're seeing what's happening in India right now or other countries where, you know, this disease can just pop up in random ways, and so you want to be a little more hyper vigilant. I know there's controversy about civil liberties, and rightfully so, and about right to do stuff, but I think it's also a right to be healthy. And I think that what COVID's kind of forced the society to do is to address things that have been swept in the rug, from social issues to healthcare to you name it. Like, I mean, because to universal basic income, people didn't have checks for months, whatever. So the stimulus kind of came out, and what I've discovered is a lot of people who, in a city like LA that are freelancers, it gave them time to kind of figure out new initiatives, new endeavors, start a new business and stuff like that. And so when people have a little bit of bread, a lot of times it allows them to do the things they've been putting off. And so I think UBI is one thing that showed it could work. Healthcare, I mean, obviously you have a vaccine. How are you going to deploy it? How are you going to make sure people get it who don't have insurance? And so it really forced society to kind of like figure out a real solution and show, hey, it could actually work. I mean, I can go down the list of so I think there were some goods, and I think there were some things that probably could be better. And you know, I think this time it also shows that even within the government, there's a lot of division and separation. And
You said that you've been socially distancing, and you've kind of been taking up the slack by social media.
Yeah.
How has your personal life been going? Have you suffered anxiety or any other issues during this year?
Yeah,
or
no, I'd say anxiety is a real thing, but for me, it's not induced from it. I think as a freelancer, I live a pretty distant lifestyle regardless as well. I'm a social person, but meaning like I work with my brother and I, so I'm as an entrepreneur can be a very isolated life at times too when you're in your craft. So
right.
You know, I think I was equipped to deal with this. The only thing is like, yeah, obviously your routine's thrown off for certain things. You know, my routine at times, like gyms close and certain social gatherings and meetup close, but it wasn't really bad, you know. I think the anxiety of just being cooped up is a very natural phenomenon. I think a lot of people felt. For me, it was good. Maybe like the last month or so, it kind of started hitting me a little more, but I thought this was really necessary, the necessary retreat or respite, you know what I mean? Despite adversities, I think the world kind of needed this in a way. Now, I'm not saying the downsides and deaths and all that, 'cause I by no means I mean that, but I mean, it's kind of forced us to like really, like I've been alluding to, reset. And so I feel
And so has anything good happened to you this year?
Yeah. My family's healthy. My business is still going. And I'm really into cryptocurrency. I think that the need and the demand for cryptocurrency is taking off, and it's showing its real utility. And I think a lot of people, because of a situation where a lot of overprinting, people are forced to find new ways to make money. The stock market, especially cryptocurrency market's really been a godsend for a lot of people. And its application is really perfect for the time now of so much printing of money and the dollar being devalued, that now people can lock their money into a digital asset that's a total new digital paradigm and own it and not be subjected to centralized parties. So what I mean by that is people can take ownership of their health by choosing if they want a vaccine or a distance. They can take ownership of their wealth by being able to put their money into a more sound financial asset that's controlled by the people, hence Bitcoin. And I think people have been forced to really ask themselves, hey, what is my place in this new world? I mean, we're in a new world that is changing, and the conversation is like, what is my role in this new utopia, or this new world?
That's my last question. I mean, what is the future? Are we going to be masking up? Are we going to be vaccinating? Is this the new normal, or distancing and things like that?
I mean, who knows? I mean, you know, I think the mask could probably be for about a year, some change. Just, you have some people that hold on a little longer. I think people will probably be more vigilant if like they feel sick masking, but I think at some point things have to return. I think biohacking is something that was already going to happen, but it's probably accelerated. I think bioprivacy is going to become a new thing. Like, what are the bioethics? But the reality is, you know, with fear you can disseminate and create change, and I think that with the vaccine deployment and this need of people essentially will have to take it in some way, some form, it's kind of giving a way to, what's the word? Where nothing is off guards in a sense. So it's a really thorny situation because in one regard I took it and it's like, hey, have it, I don't mind taking it. But then in another regard I realized there's a lot of like ethics and privacy. But it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And sometimes you just have to like trust, which is kind of tough to say, to trust political parties or not political parties, but nations that have lied before. You know, if you ask the Indians, if you ask blacks, the Tuskegee experiments, if you ask different marginalized groups, you know, but, huh? Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pack it up, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's we gotta trust and live, you know, so.
That was it, yeah. Did you go through this year with any personal philosophy, any changes to your way of looking at life and death?
Just to live, you know what I mean? You gotta live. I realized the beauty of social interaction, of connecting with people, friends and family, and just, you know, you gotta live, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you gotta live. You know, people will agree, people will disagree, but fuck it, you gotta live. Like, it's just, it is what it is, you know? So that's my philosophy, is just live to the beat of your drum, live to the beat of your truth, and live to create, live to love, live to fuck up, live to give, just live, you know what I mean? So, you know, and live to create a bridge, you know? Like, you might anger people, you might do things that offend, you might do things inspire, but as long as you're able to create some bridge that others can traverse, then that, you know, you're doing something right.
Thank you very much, David, on this Mother's Day 2021. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it. Great questions, by the way.
Important note. These interviews attempt to follow how Americans live their daily lives in a pandemic, their behavior, and personal belief systems. The views expressed are not those of journalist Michael Sean Comerford, nor any affiliated organizations, past or present. No interview should be considered an endorsement of the opinions expressed by the interviewee. These pandemic-focused interviews document a wide range of views held by individuals along Route 66 from February to May 2021.